A lot of our life with the Lord is waiting or includes waiting. And Advent is the time of year where we return to this. It's like basic training. It's like going to the fundamentals for a sport that you played a long time. Like to return to how do we wait for the Lord? And today, Gaudete Sunday is the Sunday where all of that comes into focus from the readings, from the time of year, because it's the Sunday of rejoicing while waiting. Okay, Gaudete Sunday. Gaudete means rejoice. The name of the Sunday comes from the entrance antiphon that we prayed on the way in. Rejoice in the Lord always. I say again, rejoice. It's a command that we should rejoice today, now. But it's in the middle of a time of waiting, not only because our lives are in the middle of waiting, but because of Advent, while we wait for the Lord to celebrate his incarnation at Christmas. So here's the first reading. The prophet Isaiah is speaking about the time when the Lord will come. And the prophecy is this. He's talking about the desert, parched land will rejoice and bloom with abundant flowers and joyful song. The glory of Lebanon, of Carmel, of Sharon will be given to these dry, arid places. So Lebanon, Carmel, Sharon, these are fertile places. These are places with a lot of life and greenery, with water, nourishment, so that things grow. This is what it comes to. Like when the Lord comes, these barren places will become places of life, flourishing, and abundance. So, the first thing is that this brings up for us, what do you long for? What are you waiting for, toiling under, trudging away from? What do you long for? It's usually one of two things. Either something that you have that you want gone, or something that you don't have but you desire. So it's like something that you have now but that you want gone, grief or pain or illness or suffering or sin or danger or fear. And then the things that we do not have but we desire: peace, rest, healing, strength, love, reunion with a loved one, reconciliation, to be a certain kind of spouse or parent, or stability or security. These are the things that we long for, it's the sort of thing that we imagine when we say, eventually I'll figure it out. I'll get it all together. These are the desert places, the barren, parched land that we look for life, we look for blooming, we look for flourishing because of the coming of the Lord, because of his intervention. So this is the first thing, actually, to allow those things that you long for to come up, to be recognized so that you feel them. When we get to the gospel, here's John the Baptist, and he's met Jesus already. They met while they were both still in utero, at the visitation. But then they met at Jesus' own baptism when he came to the Jordan. And John pointed him out, "Behold, the Lamb of God," and then baptized him after saying, "You should baptize me, not I baptize you." So he knows Jesus, and he's imprisoned now because he's spoken up. And the short story is that basically Herod has married his sister-in-law, which is not only messed up, but it's against the law of God. And so John speaks up about it and says, you can't do that. What you're doing is wrong. And Herod can't tolerate it, so he puts John in prison so that he can't say anything else. So here's John in prison because he's spoken the truth, which is just what we heard in the second reading when we're directed, pay attention to the example of the prophets who suffered because they spoke the truth that God gave. Here's John in prison, and he sends a message to Jesus. And he asks his messengers, ask him, "Are you the one who is to come? The one for whom we have waited? The one that is spoken about in all the prophets? Are you the one who is to come, or should we wait for another?" And Jesus says, "Tell John what you hear and see." And what he says points right to Isaiah, to what Isaiah was saying. Isaiah in the first reading, he says, "Then the eyes of the blind will be opened, the ears of the deaf be cleared, the lame will leap like a stag, the tongue of the mute will sing." And The Lord will enter Zion crowned with everlasting joy, and sorrow and mourning will flee. So Jesus says, go and tell John what you hear and see. The blind regain their sight, the lame walk, lepers are cleansed, the deaf hear, the dead are raised, and the poor have the good news proclaimed to them. In other words, he says, I am the one you have waited for. I am everything that you have hoped and longed for. But then Jesus says this, and this is like the tension and the invitation for today, for this Sunday. He says after all of this, and blessed is the one who takes no offense at me. Now, who would take offense at Jesus? Well, like everybody. We don't like Jesus' way. Not only, like, it isn't just the Romans and the Pharisees and the zealots, but the apostles take offense at Jesus, and we take offense at Jesus. He says, blessed is the one who takes no offense at me. This phrase, who takes no offense at me, it has to do with stumbling, with scandal. So another way to say it is, blessed is the one who is not scandalized by me. Or, blessed is the one who does not stumble and fall away because of me. Blessed is the one who takes no offense at me. Here's what's strange about all of this, okay? Jesus says, I am the one you have waited for, but I am not coming to take you out of this prison. And ultimately, as you know, the sad end of the story, John the Baptist is going to be executed just because of this strange interaction with Herod and his brother's wife and the girl that dances and asks for the head of John the Baptist. Jesus has power. He's making the blind see. He's cleansing lepers. But he says, John, you will stay where you are. Blessed is the one who takes no offense at me. He puts these two things together, and he makes no excuse for what he does. And like he puts right in front of our eyes the difficulty, the tension, the kind of like the thing that can be so scandalous to us. Jesus, you can, but you have not. But it's important that Jesus himself, he doesn't cover it up and he doesn't make any excuse. We have this tendency, maybe I have this tendency, because when people are disappointed with God, sometimes they'll come talk to me. We have this tendency to make excuses for God. And Jesus makes no excuses. And John the Baptist needs no excuse. This is like the glory of his question. He doesn't say, are you the one who is to come, or was all this a waste? Is all this in vain? He's asking, like, are you all we have waited for, or should I wait longer? It's a question of God fulfilling his promises when and not if. So John peacefully, humbly, with faith, simply asks, are you the one? Or should I wait longer? And Jesus says, I am the one, and you don't have to wait any longer. And blessed are you who take no offense at me and my way of rescuing you and of saving the world. This, if I kept talking about this, I would end up rationalizing, excusing, like trying to make sense of this difficulty. But this is the whole point, okay? This is Advent. This is Gaudete Sunday. This is like the time of waiting where we're supposed to rejoice and long. We're supposed to, when we come to church, bring all of those hopes that we talked about in the beginning and risk, because it's safer not to. You know, we think of these things when we're driving alone in the car. We long for something, a better life. But sometimes when we come to church, we settle into like, expect very little. Don't ask for too much. Because it's safer to do that. We're supposed to bring all of those hopes. And before they are fulfilled, in this time of waiting, to rejoice and to worship God today and now. Maybe not only are we waiting for the desert to grow abundant flowers and trees, maybe we're in the place of John the Baptist, where we have been faithful and now we're in prison. All John's joy, Like all he wants to know, did you notice he doesn't ask Jesus whether he's going to come break him out? All he wants to know is whether Jesus is the one. And that will be enough for him. So John, when he gets this message afterward, like the reason he can rejoice, the reason, the cause of his joy, the cause of his peace, the cause of his resolution and thanksgiving to God is that the one for whom he has waited, for whom we all wait, is here. The Lord has come. And so John continues in prison and ultimately to his death. This is the faith and humility. This is what Jesus asks of John and John gives, and what he asks of you and I, and for us to give. The faith and humility to simply say, is it today, Lord, or do I wait longer? Is it today, or maybe tomorrow? But I will wait. I will wait for the salvation that you promise.